Hi, my name's Vashan,
I'm Stephanie.
and today we're going to be telling you about a cool psychological phenomenon known as prosopagnosia. Picture yourself waking up in the morning. You head to the bathroom and go to wash your face at the sink. But when you look into the mirror, the face looking back at you is not yours.
Sounds scary, right?
Of course it does. When you look into the mirror, you expect to see yourself, not the face of a stranger. You are now experiencing the psychological phenomenon called prosopagnosia, also known as face blindness.
To put it simply, it is the inability to recognize faces, such as the face of someone you love, your coworkers, or even yourself. Some people may have prosopagnosia since birth, while others acquire it by damaging an area of their brain called temporal lobe. People who have prosopagnosia cannot recognize others by only seeing their faces. They need to use other visual or auditory cues to help them determine others.
In an attempt to better understand this phenomenon, we found an interesting study on how prosopagnosia works. Researchers compared people with acquired prosopagnosia and people without prosopagnosia to determine if their ability to correctly identify stimuli is the same or different. The stimuli used were different faces, some of which were inverted or upside down, while the rest were right side up.
They found that all participants took more time to recognize inverted faces, and those with prosopagnosia could not tell if the faces were the same or different. The findings showed that those with prosopagnosia's ability to perceive faces were severely impaired. This is to be expected. However, their body perception was still normal. Prosopagnosia has also been featured in films. Here's the trailer of the movie called Faces in the Crowd.
Reservations for 7. Do you want me to come pick you up?
No, I think I'll meet you there. Big smile.
Get in, I'll drive you home.
It's okay. I can walk.
Can you hear me?
Who are you?
It's Bryce.
It's not Bryce. Don't you recognize us?
What you're experiencing, face blindness. Every time you look at someone's face, it's as if you've never seen them before, even someone your own reflection.
It's all we found on the bridge. No bag, no phone.
You really look drop dead gorgeous tonight, Anna.
He's here with me right now. It could be any goddamn one of them.
Don't you recognize me anymore?
Just another face.
The guy's a freaking ghost.
She's the only one who's seen him, and she can't recognize anybody.
It's just a trick of my screwed-up brain! I know your face. You've seen me before.
You don't know my face. You don't know anyone's face.
Didn't expect to see you here.
I don't remember your name.
Usually leave a strong impression on women. You know who I am.
Let me catch this on, bitch.
I can recognize faces in my dreams.
You're the only one I don't need to hide from, Anna. You saw me doing those things. The only one that can stop me, so make an effort!
In the movie, the main character Anna has an experience of acquired prosopagnosia, as was shown in the trailer. The movie highlighted certain aspects of prosopagnosia accurately, such as when Anna wakes up in the hospital with her friends around her. She could not identify their faces at all, even though she could recognize their voices. Another example that gives us a sense of how a person with prosopagnosia perceives faces is when Anna looks into the mirror and screams in shock, as she doesn't recognize her own face. In real life, people with acquired prosopagnosia would react just as emotionally. In order to make it easier for her to recognize other people, Anna uses other cues, such as the style and color of their clothing, their hairstyle, and the sound of their voice. Specifically, when Anna goes to meet her friends, she uses the color of their dresses to correctly identify them. In real life, people who have face blindness also use these kinds of strategies to help them go about their day.
The movie also had its inaccuracies. We could probably attribute this to dramatic effect. For example, the only face that Anna could recognize is that of Detective Karst. A psychological therapist in the movie claims that Anna would be able to recognize at least one face in the crowd. However, there is not much research to support the fact that a prosopagnotic would remember one face, especially someone who they don't know well. You would remember that we said earlier in the video that damage to the temporal lobe is what causes prosopagnosia. In the movie, however, when Anna accidentally fell down to the river, she hit the back of her head where the occipital lobe is. The occipital lobe is largely responsible for vision, but she never damaged her temporal lobe. In this case, we cannot clarify which exact region she damaged mainly. We also talked about how people who have face blindness use auditory and visual cues to identify people. There is a scene in the movie which Anna doesn't differentiate her boyfriend with the murderer when the murderer wears her boyfriend's clothes. The murderer and her boyfriend's voice should not be the same, but Anna doesn't notice the difference of their voices. Also, the styles and colors of their hair are not the same, but Anna doesn't know the murderer is now right in front of her. She doesn't use any of auditory or visual cues to help her identify them. In real life, people with face blindness should be able to identify the features of someone they love. Therefore, these examples are shown inaccurately in the movie.
To quickly recap, prosopagnosia, or face blindness, is the inability to recognize faces. The two different forms of face blindness are congenital, meaning born with, and acquired, which is caused by damage to the temporal lobe. Prosopagnosics use other visual and auditory cues in order to help them recognize other people. Hopefully you have learned something new today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the movie Faces in the